welcoming the day with the shocking news of Sheila's mysterious death. Stay tuned for this mysterious murder case. Knowing that Sheila was released after many days in prison, she also tried to beg for help to be free. At the recent hearing, saved her from there. However, shortly after she was released, one day she died from a gunshot wound to the head. Sheila has many violent wounds on her body, and no one knows before Sheila died that she was brutally tortured. Sheila kept begging to live, but in the end, she couldn't move on with her life. So who was the cruel person to make Sheila end her life in such misery? Baker couldn't even imagine what had happened to her, but the wound on her body was also painful for others. Sheila died on her knees, her hands still begging for life. Her wrist was cut off, and before she died, this killer forced Sheila to commit suicide. But because she was not dead, this killer tortured her cruelly. The latest footage shows Sheila being held captive in an abandoned house, and the masked man grabbing Sheila's hair and pulling her back. The jolt wakes Sheila up, and Sheila is shocked to find herself tied up. And her mouth was glued. Sheila couldn't guess who the secret person was. She kept crying to beg the murderer, but he had prepared a hot iron. Every time he asked Sheila to tell her a crime, an iron rod would be imprinted on her, because there were so many crimes over the years that Sheila got burns all over her body. She thought that after confessing all, she would live, but Sheila was wrong. After waking up from the abuse, he again gave Sheila the knife and asked her to cut her own hand, but Sheila was afraid that she would die, so she did not follow the request. Because of opposing him, Sheila was brutally beaten, and then Sheila was forced to follow because she couldn't take it anymore. Fortunately, however, Sheila did not die after cutting her hand. She begged the killer to forgive her. She would never commit crimes again. Sheila will change instead, but the killer doesn't believe what Sheila says. He decisively put the gun to Sheila's head, and then he cleared the scene and left. After receiving a notification from a resident who accidentally saw Baker, he quickly rushed to the scene. The whole town is very curious to see who is the culprit of such cruelty. Some viewers suspect that it is Finn. He took on his mother's blood and became the next villain, and that could be Bill too. Since he's also known for his wicked tricks, Justin could be next since he's working for Bill. So who is the real killer?